How are you? I'm good. You? It is the most common script in the English language, a polite reflex exchanged dozens of times a day. But when a brain researcher asks someone that exact same question, they are looking for a highly specific diagnostic readout. To a neuroscientist, your mood is a real-time reflection of your entire physical, cognitive, and motor operating state. We typically organize our emotions into a rigid binary. Joy and satisfaction drop into a positive bucket, while sadness and envy go into a negative bucket. The problem is, this is biologically useless. The physical structure inside your head does not recognize these categories. To human biology, an emotion we love, like joy, and an emotion we hate, like envy, belong in the exact same category. Judging our internal experiences purely by how pleasant they feel completely obscures their true evolutionary purpose, which is keeping us alive. This map displays the brain as a highly integrated neural network. Every emotional center, cognitive, and motor function is wired together for one objective: survival. Because of this, the brain evaluates a feeling based entirely on whether it increases or decreases overall neural activity. At any given moment, your brain calculates the exact operating speed you need to navigate your immediate environment and selects a mood to match. On the active end of this spectrum, specific feelings generate impulses that cause your overall brain activity to spike. If you receive a sudden promotion at work, your brain triggers a surge of enthusiasm. That feeling of joy floods your system with the heightened cognitive power required to tackle a demanding new role. Envy does the exact same thing. It drastically spikes your motor and cognitive activity, instantly priming your body and mind to compete for resources or react to a social threat. When your environment demands immediate action, your nervous system provides the necessary energy. It makes absolutely no distinction between whether that energy feels pleasant or painful. Conversely, on the passive end of the spectrum, emotions leave the brain in a slowed, low-activity state. When a person is in mourning, their brain deliberately dials its activity down. This mechanism conserves vital energy, forcing the individual to focus inward to process their grief. Satisfaction operates on that exact same frequency. When there are no immediate threats to escape and no unmet desires to chase, the brain powers down to protect its resources. Throughout a typical day, a healthy brain constantly nudges this internal dial back and forth across the middle ground, smoothly adjusting your metabolic and cognitive speed to match whatever you encounter. This diagram lines up several activity sliders side by side to show that while the biological mechanism is universal, the exact center of the dial, what we perceive as a normal mood, is heavily dictated by our culture. In highly extrovertic societies, the baseline hovers closer to the active end. These populations generally report being happier, but their high activity baseline also makes them quicker to experience anger and jealousy. In cultures that prioritize a passive way of life, the baseline sits closer to the low activity end. This societal norm produces individuals who are calmer and more restrained, but also more prone to baseline sadness. What we experience as a standard everyday mood is simply a societal expectation layered over a biological throttle. The medical reality changes when this biological mechanism stops responding to the environment entirely. This visual illustrates the mechanics of depression, often triggered by a severe life event, like the sudden discovery of a massive financial debt. The brain's activity drops to the extreme passive end and becomes frozen there. Experiencing a severe drop in activity after receiving bad news is a healthy response. A clinical mood disorder is defined strictly by the duration that the brain remains locked in that passive state, long after the immediate shock has passed. Our feelings are not random events to be judged, nor are they moral failings. They are highly evolved, continuous internal calculations, shifting your operating speed second by second to give you the exact tools you need to survive.